Good evening, everyone, and welcome to round two here at Lucas Oil Raceway at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Round two here for the SRX series with Racers Elite. I am Andrew Riegel alongside Brandon tonight. Got 125 laps on tap, 15 drivers signed in.
Yeah, I think we're in for a good show tonight. The track seems to be a really good temperature for them to get some good grip. I think you're going to see some guys take the high line, some guys with fresher tires trying to make some aggressive passes down low. So, 125 laps tonight, a lot can shape up and shape out in that time frame.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw a really good race last week at Oswego. Obviously, drivers still getting used to the type of car. A lot of them, even our podium runners last week, had barely touched the car before. Obviously, that changes this week. Track that a lot of these drivers are more familiar with.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of these drivers race in the Racers Elite Truck Series, which this track is usually on the schedule each season. So the good part is they have some more experience with this track, so I think they're gonna understand it a little bit better, especially as far as long run goes. But definitely a learning curve still with just the weight of this car and the high horsepower. You're sitting at about 700 horsepower, and you're still going to have to hit the brakes and take these turns ever so slightly.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll jump into our starting lineup for tonight's race here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. On the pole will be San Lubers, who I believe was our pole sitter last week at Oswego as well. If not, actually, no, I believe that is not right. I believe it was 36 last week that led the opening portion, but Sam was right up there with them. Andrew Teff, tough luck for him last week. 98, he will start on the outside. And last week's runner, Christopher Pendell, in 94, will start third. Fourth, Kinsley Smith, runner-up last week at Oswego. Stephen Littorell in 36 starts fifth. Sixth, Joshua Norton. Seventh, Barry Nelson. Eighth, Mike Fudge. Ninth will be Brett Bray, and Jonathan Sidham to his outside. Then Sean Dunaway in starting 11th in 01 to his outside. Another newcomer this week, Rowan Lloyd in 61. Then 14th, 92 at Timothy Wisebrand. I'm gonna assume that is how you pronounce that. Terry Fennell in the 50 will start 15th. And rounding out the field will be the 57 of Aaron Roth.
Yeah, strong field tonight. Good to see some new guys joining in the league this week, or joining in the series that do race with the league and other series.
Yeah, to me, you might as well join in. Just even if you're terrible like I probably would be out there, you might as well just give it a shot. Just get some laps of anything around this track.
Yeah, that's right, Andrew. No matter what you race and where you race it on iRacing, you're going to pick up some kind of skill somewhere that you didn't know before. That's going to make you better in a series that you do race more competitively.
Yeah, for example, you might not really have any reason to race for points in this series, but like you said, could help you out when the trucks come back here relatively soon.
Yeah, similar line with a high diamond that some of these trucks will run in the truck series, so I think we're going to see some of that tonight. And looks like we are green flag racing.
Yes, we are. This is in the forecourse. We talked about the outside line. These are the preferred line around this track, which we will see for most of the evening. But Luber's able to make the inside line work. He'll lead down into turn 3.
Looks like we got just a spin off 3 there.
I did catch that out of the corner of my eye. Not catch exactly who it was, but he's better than Aaron Roth.
Yeah, I think Stephen Littrell was caught up in that.
Oh, looks like it was up in the front there. Yep, we'll try to... Yeah, it looks like it is the 36. 36 gets on the binder just a little bit too hard, it looks like. Locks up the brakes.
Yeah, tough call or tough situation there. really not much you can do once these heavy cars start to turn on you. But you're right. It's either entering too fast, getting on the brakes, not used to these cars, or just like last week, getting on the throttle a little bit too early on exit.
Which I think we'll see a little bit less because it's not going to be as heavy on brake, I feel like, tonight, but just still a lot of different areas where if you get in the throttle a little bit too much or on the brake, just as we saw there, very easy to spin these heavy cars around.
Yeah, I think you're right. These turns are a little bit longer, so it gives them a little bit more time, and they can carry a little bit more speed through them. So not as much braking, but nevertheless, you still need some finesse with that throttle and that brake. But yeah, I'm really interested to see how these lines play out. We saw a leader there kind of take a mid to low line, and Andrew behind him looking to make build up some speed, some momentum on that outside. So only time will tell which lane will prove victory, but I think it also depends on if we can get some green flag long runs in here.
Yeah, obviously last week, with a couple quick yellows at the beginning, just like we saw here. We had a caution opening lap last week as well. But I expect to see, not that there was that many cautions last week, but I expect to see a few less yellows here this evening.
I think we got one to go.
Back up, huh?
Yep, one to go for green. And just a reminder for our viewers that damage is turned off in this series. So drivers that spin out, hit the wall, whatnot, no damage, just tire wear that they'll have to get taken care of. So no drivers will be out for that reason.
Yeah, which that is very handy if you're a driver out there that is just trying to learn the ropes, how to really master these cars.
And a lot less, I guess you could say, arguing towards one another too.
Well, yeah, that too. Very much know that from a league of admin standpoint. Back to green flag racing to go. 5 in, 120 still left. Able to get a lot better, kind of, he stayed with the 16 a lot more on that restart. Battle with the machine, last week's winner, Christopher Pendell. He only led 27 laps en route to his win last week. So Joshua Norton in the background got in to the outside wall going into turn 1. There 96 on the graphics, but 28 on your screen. He was one of the drivers that got some contact there. Obviously no damage though. So no harm done for him in that first caution.
Yeah, it's good to see Barry back up there. I know last week he was kind of just a sleeper agent almost. He just popped up in the top 5, top 6 at the end of the race last week or near the end. So good to see him back up front.
Did see a car get around on the front stretch. I believe that was the 42 of Jonathan Stidham. Of course, he had a tough week at Oswego as well. Luck for him, though, he was able to bring it home in the top 5 after it was all said and done. Looks like he just gets on the crease below the yellow line there and loses it by himself. So his second self-spin of the evening that we've seen. 2 different drivers, of course.
Yeah, that's a tough spot. In practice, I was trying below that yellow line there. It was quicker laps, but it is slick down there. Not a lot of grip, especially on exit.
Yeah, every time I've tried to run down there, it just seems like I don't know if you call it the car kind of bottoms out or not, but like you said, lack of grip once you get down that low, especially when you're trying to get back in the throttle.
Right, that makes it hard, and of course there's no banking down there below the yellow line, so the track isn't really helping you out either.
I always feel like the bottom here reminds me of New Hampshire. That is the way I always look at it when I am racing the track.
Yeah, that's true.
I've always thought New Hampshire has negative banking on the bottom. That's just.
Well, that's what it feels like when you're racing. That's for sure.
I mean, that's personally one of my favorite racetracks on iRacing, which I know that's definitely, I'd say, in my own minority. But
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm usually favorite to some 1.5-mile-ers, but I guess the reason I've struggled at short tracks is, I think the easiest thing to do at a short track is overdrive your turns, and before you know it, your front right tire is shot. So it's really just learning the patience, and that's what I'm getting better at personally. But I think that's where if someone struggles at short tracks, it's usually because of overdriving.
yeah, it's very easy to do because the fine line of like I find myself personally like I'll think I'm saving tires, but I'm really not. Like
Yeah,
I'm
it's
trying
very
to make
tough
it
to
as
find
smooth
that.
as possible, but it's a very thin line of keeping up, keeping your pace, not saving, like not falling behind a whole lot, but saving enough so that way you have something towards the end of the run.
You're right, and if you notice some of these drivers, they're almost doing a diamond. So they enter the turns, and about midway through the turn, you can see their car slide up about a half a lane to a lane. It allows them to carry more speed going out. They can get a better angle, but that's also burning tire and increasing the temperature. So long run, that might not be great, but short run, it's definitely going to be beneficial.
Absolutely, about to come back to green flag racing here. Still same top two, 1698. They will lead us into the start zone. Now 16. Car going into turn one. Tefnell going to stick it to his outside here, see if he has anything down the backstretch, and he will. He will at least nudge ahead here. And he'll take the lead down in turn three with ease. Pendale going to look to come with him. As now the 16 is sort of trapped on the inside.
Yeah, those outside cars, they have a good diamond going, and what that does, it just gives them a better angle off of the turn so that they're able to get on the gas early and generate some more speed.
Absolutely. We see the driver we just talked about before the last yellow. 28 there of Barry Nelson. Loops around by himself. I think he just sort of drove it in there a little too deep. Might have got on the crease there as well. I would assume he probably was hitting the brakes at the same time he was turning, and it might have lost the grip that way.
Yeah, that could be a tough break for Barry, but no damage, lots of race left. If you're going to do it, now's the time, I guess.
The good news for him is this track a little bit easier to make some passes happen than Oswego is. As obviously Oswego mostly all on the bottom side. You can make some headway up top, but yeah, you need to have a tire advantage, I believe.
Yeah, I was just checking Barry's in-car cam because I was curious if he was shifting down, and maybe that's what caused his rear end to kind of come out from behind him. But that's not the case. Barry is not shifting, and I know it's possible to shift in this track. I don't think we have any drivers doing it quite yet, though.
Of course, your current race leader, that was this thing that he had happen to him last week at Oswego. He downshifted in turn three and brought out the caution. So your top five last week at Oswego. Christopher Pendell, he started 14th last week and picked up the win, so starting position doesn't really matter, at least it did not last week. So your top three all started 10th or worse. Kinsley Smith finished second, Sean Dunaway third, fourth Jonathan Stidham, and Alex Gates was your fifth place finisher last week at Oswego.
Yeah, just got some word from Andrew Teft, who's currently running first. So we saw that pass on the outside, and he generated some momentum that we didn't see before. Andrew actually downshifted during that pass. So that is one way to get more speed, some more takeoff coming off of those turns. But when you do that, you also burn more tire to add some more heat to those things. So when you're out in the open, you're leading, not the thing that you want to do. However, to make a pass and get that clean air, it's probably worth it.
Absolutely. Sometimes track position is key, and that's exactly the kind of move you have to do to be able to get control of the restarts. That's what he's going to have right here when we get back to racing.
Yeah, and it sounds like some people in the field are downshifting, some are not, just mixed throughout the field. So I'm interested to see how that's going to help people in the long run.
Yeah, like you said, if we can get a long run here, if you're doing that every single lap, that could be a detriment to you, especially if you already have track position. I don't feel like there's too much of a need to do it unless you're about to get passed. Obviously, we saw Teff last time he was on the outside, took the lead. Last time he was on the inside. Goes up the track and he takes that line away. He'll at least hold the lead for the moment down the back straight.
Yeah, it's a good defensive line he has right there. High enough that Christopher cannot get to his outside. Ooh, he got a spin in there.
I think it's Timothy Wisebrand. I think he was the car that spun out down the front straight. So you can get a far chase cam on him to see exactly what transpired. It's like he straightens it out off the corner there. Just overcorrected a little bit too much, puts himself in the wall, came down, lost all his momentum. 24 was already coming up behind him and definitely was never going to be able to slow down in time. Tagged him in the right corner, and that's what sent him around. But no damage, so other than going to the back of the field, should be all good to go. This field, they're waiting for the iRacing pace truck to catch up to them.
Yeah, as I was saying there before that caution, Andrew is running a really good defensive line there to start. So he was about a lane off of the wall in those turns. And what that does is it forces Chris to say, hey, if I'm going to pass him, I got to do it on the inside. And Andrew knows if he does that, he can shift into third as he enters those turns and really generate a lot more speed. So good plan of attack and good plan of defense that he has now to keep that first position.
As we saw Sam there on the previous restart, he kind of held his car more so to the bottom side, which by virtue kind of slows up his momentum, and what kind of set up the 98 for him to be able to drive right around with ease.
Yeah, I'm looking at these top 5, top 6 drivers, and judging by what we've seen in the past with them, a lot of them have been in Racers Elite for a while. I don't think a lot of these guys are going to be super aggressive right now. I wouldn't be surprised to see them single file until about halfway through the race and then start to make some moves. But yeah, good solid group up front now, and we'll see what they decide to do here as far as a tire saving line.
And of course, a couple of them started up there, just in different order now. But of course, we see a lot of similar faces. Josh Norton, for example, in 24, he was able to. He had a very tough week at Oswego. Multiple times spun around last week, but he's looking to make up for that here in Indianapolis this week. Should be 1 to green here at the line.
Yeah, a lot of these guys just picked up had a good learning curve last week, and they really learned how these cars handle and how you have to approach all these turns. It's really showing.
Especially last week, talking about it, it's a track that obviously hasn't been on the sim for an awful long time, and usually most NASCAR leagues that they would race do not take part there, at least not near as much as here at IRP or other tracks that we'll go to here in the next couple weeks. in 98. Kinsley looked to the inside of 94 there momentarily. He'll slot back in line. Pole sitter Sam Luger still running at 4th. Norton 5th, and you see Dunaway now looks to the inside, dives it off the corner. Not using it. Not having a better for that. So he'll slot back into 6th.
Yellow flag is out.
Up we have another caution. Flag is out.
Yeah, looks like we have the 92 around, and the 50 slowed up. Not sure what happened there.
Yeah, we'll see exactly what happened here. Of course, second caution of the evening. This was in, looks like the 28 there gets into the back of another car. That's what ends up transpiring. The looks like the 92 is going to be, yeah, the 28 gets into the back of the 2, puts it down the racetrack, and then the 92 loses it just out of a chain reaction basically there. Yeah, the 36 came up the racetrack trying to miss the other ones.
Yeah, at that point it's just trying to avoid anything in front of you, but looks like just a difference in braking points. Barry didn't anticipate where the 2 was going to brake, having a little bit earlier brake, but no damage, no harm, no foul. Get back in line and we'll get back to racing. And we got some,
got our first couple pit stops. Of course, you've got staying there in the 16, 98, 15, 3 of your top 4 runners there. Bendell, the only one that stayed out on the racetrack, out of your top 4. And Joshua Morton running 5th, and he stayed out as well. Teffiel first, then it'll be Kinsley and Sam. That is your top 3 off of pit road. The 92 that was just involved in that caution.
So when this thing goes green, we're going to have about 93 laps left, and on a full tank, it can get about 86 laps. So, I mean, I would say there's going to be at least one more caution, if not more. So, technically, if you are pitting right now and filling that tank up, you can make it on fuel as far as the whole race goes. I guess the question it is, though, is it going to be worth to come in for 4 fresh tires later on in the race?
Yeah, which, like I said, as long as we can get a green flag run, I feel like that answer is yes, that you will definitely want to come back down for tires. Obviously, tires were at a premium last week. It seems like whoever pitted for tires last is going to at least have a good shot at least finishing in the top 5.
Yeah, some drivers who take tires too could maybe make some passes on the inside with some people with older tires. So now that we have drivers on different strategies with tires at different times, I think we'll see some more action and interesting passing scenarios here.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we'll intensity is going to pick up because those drivers obviously going to want to work their way back up the field as fast as they possibly can, and put pressure on the drivers that did not come down pit road and make them have to come down for tires, and then they'll obviously have the track release front run. Bendell out front with ease there in 94. He'll break away from the field, already a 3/10 advantage. Joshua Norton down the outsides, he stays side by side trying to hold that second spot. Aaron Roth, the driver we've not really talked about to this point. He's now going to work his way into the podium spot just for a moment. Dunaway not going away quietly though.
Yellow flag is out.
Dunaway had a run there, but he got a little tight. Almost got up into the 57, but he'll keep it going. But we have another caution flag. It's going to be Barry Nelson again, perhaps.
Yeah, tough night for the 28. Just hard to tame this car in this track.
And everyone's driving sure to just testing out the car, just trying to figure out exactly how to really tame the car really. I'm trying to figure out exactly what the caution's for. 'Cause my graphic system says it's the caution for him, but at the same time, I have not seen. But Sean Dunaway is now coming down the pit lane, along with Stidham, Fudge, and Teff. So there are a couple cars. We see Teff coming down pit road once again. Maybe he figures he was already at the back, he might as well come down again, top off on fuel at the very least. It looks like he did just come down for fuel, at least for my judgment here on the sim.
Yeah, I think they might have, iRacing might have thrown that caution just because Barry was entering the pit, I think, after green flag, and he slowed down a little bit too much on the racing surface, and it just throwed it out. Should have been a caution, but I mean, iRacing sometimes will do that, just a technicality.
Yeah, iRacing loves to throw yellows like that. That's kind of what I thought it could have been once we couldn't really dissect what the caution was for. I figured it had to have been for that. Especially when the leaders are coming right behind him. Of course,
yeah, and then sometimes you have a full-on demolition derby, and then there's no caution. So with iRacing, sometimes you just never know.
You're absolutely right. Sometimes you'll have 6 cars spun out by themselves on the other side of the racetrack, and iRacing will not throw a yellow. Of course, we have a lot more short tracks coming up on the schedule here the next couple weeks. Next week we get our first dirt oval of the season, Lima Land, which quarter-mile bouldering, very much so. Intrigued to see how the drivers tackle that one.
I know some of these drivers have some dirt experience, some do not. But the good news is these SRX cars were designed to handle both asphalt and dirt, so they're not being put on a completely new surface that, you know, they're not made for. So hopefully these drivers will be able to get some practice time in, get ready for those races.
Yeah, exactly. At least it's not like the NASCAR next-gen car that's not really meant to put on there, or like an Indy car or something, for example. But we'll get back to green here. Going to pick up right where he left off, trying to go for that second spot now. Going to drive it in deep on the top side. Roth can see if he can get the run off the corner. Of course, Norton's going to have the momentum up on the top shelf. Also step by step with him there in the HendrickCars.com or 57. And now he'll take the second spot. Thought he was going to clear, but just not quite yet.
Well, it looks like Aaron got a little bit loose there, lost some momentum going into that turn.
Yeah, he almost had it cleared, just not able to get in there. He's spinning back to him there. Norton almost put himself in the fence.
He's sideways and trying to save it.
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
Yeah, that's just building up intensity. You're trying to put a little bit more speed in there to make that pass, just push that car a little bit farther, but sometimes it's a little bit too much.
Yeah, just obviously he's trying everything he could. Of course, no reason for him not to come down pit road now, though. Since I believe he was one of the last couple of drivers, other than your race leader, that had not come down into the pit lane yet. Of course, out of your drivers that came down pit road to this point, Kinsley Smith now sitting in third. I believe that is the first out of your drivers that came down pit lane. As they see Pendell now going to make the call to get his 4 tires and fuel. So Norton will now assume the race lead in 24. He will get that one bonus point for leading a lap as well.
So you got Kinsley in second with fresh tires. Joshua Norton, I believe, has not taken tires yet.
Yeah, I think unless there's some caution car towards the back that hasn't came down yet. I believe everyone but Joshua Norton has now taken tires, at least at some point throughout the night.
Yeah, so we're looking at about 30 lap difference in tires here. So this will give us a good idea as far as what fresh tires will do versus older tires. So this will be good to note for the end of the race. And I'm sure a lot of drivers are paying attention to Joshua Norton on the front.
Yeah, as we talked about earlier, obviously last week tires meant a lot, but that is a very old, very worn out surface at Oswego. So tires were always going to be key there. I would expect they're going to be pretty valuable here, but I don't think they'll be as valuable as last week.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think so, just because they're not taking those turns quite as hard or braking quite as hard. Not as much pressure is put on those right fronts. No pun intended.
Yeah, you don't have to pretty much be all on the inside wall at each and every lap. Yeah, like I said, we go to Lima Land next week. Then the following week, we'll go to Stafford, which one of my personal favorite tracks. Obviously very well known in the modified world. Another one there, Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park. One of my favorite tracks when I first got on iRacing, actually, since it's one of the free content racetracks.
I really don't know much about these short tracks, but I'll tell you, they are fun. Every time I race at one in iRacing, it is a blast, regardless of the size, the banking. They make them well, and there's a reason they're so popular.
Absolutely. The racing's always close because just like this,
Green.
a lot of restarts. Cars can only go one place. You're in traffic at all times, just like we're still in real life. You're either in lap traffic or you're battling someone. Norton at least holds the lead for now in 24. He's been up top pretty much the whole entire race. He's going to try to hold on this lead off the corner. Kinsey might have it. It's by a nose at the line. You see how long he's able to hold on to the race lead.
And Norton's showing us you can get a really strong run if you're going to run that top line, or even about a half a car length down.
Yeah, I thought there was almost no way he was going to be able to get to the line first, but he was able to, and we get our caution flag.
Yeah, just as about Norton showed us, he had it figured out for the older tire line. It's just up there because this, like we saw, he had a really fast run coming out of 2, I think it was.
Exactly what caution flag was for here. It looks like it's going to be Sean Dunaway. He spun on the backstretch in 01.
I wonder if he was below that yellow line there. I saw he was one of the only drivers cutting that apron.
Yeah, it looks like that's going to be about what he did. He actually was. He didn't start to spin until he got onto the backstretch. It's similar to what we saw happen quite a bit last week at Oswego off of turn 2. When you get back in the throttle a little too much, you lose the back end. Of course, turn 2 was pretty much putting everyone out to dry last week.
Yeah, turn 2 was the gauntlet.
Yeah, I bet you. I think we had 14 cautions last week. I bet you 10 of them were probably in that corner.
Yeah, coming out of turn 2, getting on that gas too early.
The bumps at Oswego certainly do not help. Obviously, very, very much so. A lot smoother of a ride here this evening. Even in the dirt cars, very bumpy here on iRacing when you're even going down the straightaway.
Yeah, definitely a smoother track. I didn't feel any bumps really in practice. I think it was on the front stretch up at the top line. You could definitely hit some bumps, but not nearly what it was last week.
course, we're gonna be heading back to Oswego on May 18th. But it'd be the dirt edition of Oswego. It's a whole different type of racetrack, obviously, than we saw 1 week ago. Of course, if you're interested watching, you want to join us, more than welcome to. You just got to join the Discord for any more info. Racing every single Monday night through June 29th.
Yeah, and it's a free series too. No harm, no foul there. Can't lose nothing.
You might as well give it a try. Like you just said,
Green flag, green
no
flag.
reason to go back. Norton, great jump there. Like we said, he's on older tires, really able to get it a lot better jump than I think he got last time.
Yeah, Kenzo's really pushing it, getting aggressive, trying to get by. So he got a little loose on exit there.
I think he might be getting a little bit impatient on that one, just because he wants that track position up front, and he knows Loopers and Teff right behind him have just as good tires as he does, basically. Looks like it's going to be Timothy in 92, I think for the third time tonight we're involved in this caution. Appears he comes up just a little bit too much off the wall in 92. I mean, he comes up just a little bit too much. Drives at 94 here. 94 looks like he held his line. 92 just come up the racetrack, obviously trying to get that run off the corner, and loses the car there after the contact.
Yeah, just a little bit too much throttle coming up. Because if he would have turned the wheel any more left, he's probably going to spit out. So when he gets on that throttle, it pushes his car up to the right. That's exactly what happened. But I'll tell you what,
tough deals.
These drivers that took fresh tires are taking note of what Joshua Norton is doing right now. He's taking the high line. Kensley Smith is taking the next lane down. However, that's forcing him to get really loose on exit. He's not able to generate the speed to make that pass. So this is something I think a lot of drivers are going to take note of, because it's going to come into play at the end of the race.
Yeah, absolutely. Because at this far in the race, obviously we have not had a long green flag run, but nonetheless, impressive stuff out of Norton, just to be able to hold on each and every one of these restarts. Because restarts, that's really when the tires mean everything.
Oh, for sure.
Of course, we are nearing the halfway point in this one. Just under 75 laps remaining here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Lights are still on around the speedway. I would assume we're going to be 1 to green here at the line when they get to it. Of course, the longer Norton stays out front, the more laps he can lead, and he could possibly get another extra bonus point. Of course, he already has 1 bonus point for just leading a lap. If he leads the most laps, he will get yet another bonus point. Top 16 in points after round 11 will lock into the chase. So points very important to be able to get there. Green flag is back out here. Norton slides up 15, able to dime in the corner this time. We'll get alongside as they head back off into 3. See if he has anything for him this time. Best run he's had in quite a few restarts. Will ever get a great run. Kinley on him, push and take the race lead in the Napa Auto Parts for this one.
Yeah, Kensley can comfortably get up a little bit higher and diamond that turn to get a better runoff now. Looks like he's going to give him just enough to make that pass. I know he's relieved.
Yeah, absurd. Like I said, he's probably just was getting a little frustrated sitting behind
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
24 for so long. Steven also making his way by in 36. We're going to get there at caution. So it could be Timothy again. Could be wrong, but
Looks like Christopher Pindell just got in a little bit too hard, hit the brakes a little bit too much, spun him around.
it's a tough break there for your early race leader. Of course, he was the leader before the pit stop cycles began. Yet, same thing we saw there on the opening lap with another car. Just got in the brakes a little too hard and sent himself sideways. He's going to make a trip now down pit road, probably going to get some tires and a fuel, I would imagine, as they have 5 total sets. So plenty of different sets of tires and different strategies you can do with that many sets available to you each and every race. The only races that there will not be extra sets of tires are the dirt events.
Yeah, they're not going to be hurting for tires tonight, so you're in a position like Christopher Pindell's, you know, you spin, I think you got tires not too long ago, but you're probably going to end with some extra tires, so you might as well go in the pits, get some fresh ones, come on out, and make some passes.
It's not like Formula One or NASCAR where you might not have another set of tires in the pits, and you got kind of have to plan for it accordingly. With only 125 laps, only really one pit stop is mandatory pretty much to make the race based on fuel. So other than that, you can kind of use the other sets however you please. Also didn't mention this, but Joshua Norton did finally take his talents down pit lane to get some tires. Of course, very valiant effort out front. Got himself all the way about basically the halfway point in this one before he came down pit road.
Yeah, impressive run by Josh. But yeah, you could tell his tires were really starting to go. That highline worked, but it probably generated a lot of heat in those things. And the more heat you put it in, the less grip you got. So good call by Josh to come down and get some fresh ones.
Yeah, you might as well. You lost the track position. You might as well come down. Obviously now he's going to have fresher tires than anybody else out there by as much of a margin as they had on him previously. So he should make some headway. Of course, last week had very much of a struggle at Austin. So now we'll leave the field down the back straight. So we're now past the halfway point.
Yellow flag is out.
We're going to get another caution flight. Looks like we're just going to double Joshua Norton and one on the ball. Sideways. 24 puts himself in 3 wide. Probably going to run out of room here. And yeah, puts his nose there. 50, I don't think he realized he was there. And round goes the Oreo machine.
Yeah, I don't think any of these cars were expecting someone to go 3 wide at that point. Joshua's got the tires. You know, he can make that pass in another lap or two. But I get it. You know, he knows he has the freshest tires. He knows he was running up front and holding it well. So he just wants to get back up there.
Yeah, absolutely. He wanted to get there as fast as he possibly could. Maybe a little bit earlier, impatient, but still, I mean, you got the grip. You might as well try it from his standpoint. But Kins is still out front in 15 course. Coming down pit road, I don't think he came down pit road the second time. Of course, Teff came down pit road 2 separate times. He's now still mired back in traffic at 98 in the 8th spot. McKinley, of course, just pitted on that first time that everyone came down. About lap 30, I believe.
Yeah, it doesn't look like we're getting anybody to go for tires this time. Everybody's satisfied with what they got. We're expecting to make a tire change later on.
Of course, Aaron Roth, though, one of the drivers, of course, he didn't pit until a little bit later in that cycle. He finds himself now in 3rd.
Yeah, Aaron's done a good job moving Mount up in this race, but you're right. A little bit earlier on those tires, so we'll see what lane he takes.
Aaron Roth, he finished 7th last week at Oswego. Racing pace truck heads down pit lane. Kinsley in the rail will lead us back to the green flag here in the start zone. Truck there out of Kinsley here to fire off 3 or 4 car lengths already through 1 and 2.
Flag is out.
Roth put himself into the wall there into 57. He'll lose 2 spots. Stidham and Lubers make their way by. We're going to get a caution flag.
Yeah, we got a hold up here in the turn. Not sure exactly how that started, but looks like the 28 of Barry and 98 of Teft are involved.
Yeah, it looks like may have started with the 28 and the 98. The 2. 2 makes kind of slows up there. 98 tries to cut down to the racetrack, take the bottom side away. He was clear. 28 though did not slow up in time. It makes contact with the 98, kind of sends him off into the corner. And that's pretty much what got everyone else involved in that as a chain reaction.
Yeah, it looks like those drivers that are involved are coming down a pit road. Let's see if they're going to go for some tires or just fuel.
Luber's there. He at least is definitely stopping for four tires in the 16. Mike Fudge is going to beat everyone off pit lane. And Luber's then Roth. And it looks like Teff, he will be the last car come off pit lane there in the 98.
Yeah, a situation like that, I think it's a good call for 4 because, you know, if you're spinning on the track, your tires are going to have bald spots, and really, what's a couple positions for another 2 fresh tires?
Yeah, absolutely. You might as well come down. Doesn't really hurt anything, and more grip, the better. Kinsley continues to click them off out front behind the iRacing pace truck.
About 54 laps to go. Coming to green in a couple here. So we're winding down. I think we'll maybe see some drivers really start to push it on that outside lane, or even trying to diamond and get that run on the inside to try to make a pass.
Yeah, absolutely. I think as we get closer and closer to the kind of prime window in this race, you're going to see a lot more of aggressive moves. Kind of like we saw out of Norton there. I think you're going to see some people force it 3 wide at different moments.
Oh, for sure. And don't forget, Kensley was feeling the pain of Josh Norton. And Kensley's a smart driver, so he picked up on what Josh was doing with those older tires in that higher lane. So I expect to see Kensley up there, too, doing the same thing to Stephen Luttrell.
Yeah, he can use what he learned from the other end. He's making some great jumps here on these starts. I've seen time and time again, though, at different races. You can only keep him guessing so many times, though. When we keep having restarts out front. You see Josh Norton, oh, he's already up to 5th. Talked about Marshall's car. Another 4th. Norton looking to his inside there in the 24, though. And Bendel trying to get his name back in the hat. He's right behind those 2 drivers that battle for 4th. As Norton and Dunaway nearly make contact there in 3 and 4.
And Dunaway is now pretty much on that high line of the track, so he can go below the yellow, he can go mid, he can go high. He's really feeling out every part of this track. I think that'll be beneficial to him at the end when he's going to be forced to take one of those lanes, whether he wants to or not. He's going to have some good experience there.
At least he has experience. He knows what his car will do on each and every lane around the racetrack. Now trying to force his way into the battle. Norton kind of stuck on the inside. Dunaway getting to the wall on the outside, though, going to really help Norton out. He might be home free. He's going to try to come in front, and he will. Now he can finally take the top side. Of course, that is where Norton wants to be, as he's ran there all race long.
Yeah, he's making speed, but that's also going to tear those tires up a little bit quicker. Only time will tell, but he is making ground back up to P4.
See now that he has an open track, we'll see what the lap times are compared to the race leaders. Faster than Stidham that last lap. Luttrell, actually the fastest car on the track, 23.0. Last time around, about 3/10 of a second faster than first and 3rd place runners. We got a caution flag though.
They really started to space out and get their groove. Jonathan Stidham in 3rd place there had a really nice entry and exit. He was really smooth. So these drivers are really starting to settle in with what they like.
So another one of those similar situation 92 was in earlier. Just scoots up the racetrack just a little bit too much off the corner, makes contact with the 2, and that's what ends up bringing that caution out there.
So here's a good, interesting pit scenario here. So Kensley took tires. Stephen Luttrell stayed out on track along with the 42 Stidham. So, and Dunaway came down. So about half those leaders in the front seem like they're going to take tires. Half are saying, I think I'll take them later.
Yeah, some of those ones, because obviously at this point we've had quite a bit of yellows tonight. We haven't had really any, that might have been our longest green flag run, at least close to it. So really, you know you're going to get another yellow. And we saw last week, whoever took tires last, basically, at least close to the end, put themselves in a pretty good spot. So they might be right in the very end here, waiting to get their tires.
Yeah, so you got you have Dunaway, Kensley taking tires now. So we have about 44, 43 green flag laps that we'll have after this caution. If we had 43 green flag laps, that would be a lot on tires. However, there's been a lot of caution. So I think those drivers are taking that into account and saying, hey, we might only get about 20, 15 green flag laps on these tires. We might as well come in now so we're ahead of the game.
Yeah, at least because if it is that case, those other drivers are going to want to come down because obviously the couple that just came down, they're going to have a lot fresher tires, a lot more grip, and they're easily going to be able to tear their way through the field, I would think, here in the coming laps.
Yeah, we've seen these drivers take tires, and they're already back up at the front. within the top 5 or even a podium position within 10 laps. So tires are definitely making a difference tonight.
Especially, we saw earlier Norton kind of lucked out because he wasn't involved in that one incident that happened in turn 3. But so wreck happens like that, you can be right back up to the front in no time. Stidham, though, he finds himself now lined up here on the front row in 42.
Yeah, it looks like Stephen Luttrell's taking the outside, so he prefers the outside as far as taking off here on the green flag.
I was actually surprised more drivers did not take that, since obviously that's really trying to avoid what's the
Yeah, I'm surprised too, because you're right. They pass on the inside and then they shoot straight up to the top. And I always thought, as a driver in iRacing, especially if you only have one monitor view, it's a lot harder to see a car on your right than it is your left as you're waiting in line. So, yeah, it's easier to get a jump on the car, I think, if you go on the outside as well.
Just with how preferred mine is, I thought that a lot more drivers did it earlier. We saw, like, obviously, the initial starts, leader lost the lead in turn 1. I feel like that was part of it.
Yeah, you could tell Joshua Norton, that 24 car, man, he's hungry to get up here. He's up against that wall, rubbing it. He's trying to get around that 42 as hard as he can.
First last week, very much a struggle as we documented earlier. So he wants to get up there in the points. Currently sitting 13th out of 13 cars in the point standings. He wants very badly to get at least a very good run here tonight, at the very least. You see Taft trying to work his way in there, and he makes kind of an aggressive move. They're able to slide right in front of him.
Yeah, that's the first time I've seen a really good, successful slide job on somebody today. Got up in front of that 24, and when you get in front of them on exit up top, they really have nowhere to go.
Oh, now Norton going to get into the 42, as those two are now going to spin themselves down the back straight, and that'll bring us into a caution flag. We just watched 98 took the 3rd spot with ease, basically, on using the bottom side. They're out of turn 2. But Norton tried to follow suit. Ken at the racetrack, I think his closing speed was just way too much than he thought to, as the 42 kind of got out of the gas, as the 98 was obviously had him clear, and he was going to come up the track. He slow up for him. 24 ended up making contact with him. Those two take a ride down to the infield.
Yeah, so the 24 is driving around cars that have older tires than him, so they're going to be slower exit. They're going to have to be slower on entry as well. So sometimes it's tough to balance that with being eager. You know the laps are counting down. You're getting to the end of the race. It's a tough situation.
Yeah, absolutely. But Laurel still out front in 36. 94 Pendel runs in second now into 94. Two drivers obviously started up there, but kind of take the long route to come back up to the front. Teft out in third. There's Kinsley Smith, of course. He's one of the last drivers that came down pit road for tires. Same thing, I believe, with Sam Lubers. So those drivers now working very quickly. 15 and 16 cars. Dunaway now runs in 6th. 7th, very tough night for the 92, but he now finds himself running beginning at the back of the top 10. Brett Ray 8th, Mike Fudge, and Terry Cannell there in the 50. Runs in 10th. And of course, Norton and Stidham way back in the field, as iRacing does not throw a caution for that incident that happened. Pendel now looks to the inside here for the race slate. See if we can have him line up outside of the Dale. Steven still leads the lap. So we're kind of on 30 laps remaining. once again, a diamond off the corner. Almost gets to his inside.
Yeah, Steven's making it really hard on him to pass. You can see he diamonds up, gets a run in, and he's forcing Christopher to go down low. And when he does that, Christopher can't get on the gas as quickly as Steven can, so Steven can get the run off. So just a really good, again, defensive line.
Yeah, I feel like almost he's going to have to hope to get to his inside and try to force a slide job to him. Obviously, it's very tough with the line that he's being forced to run. That's way down the track this time. It might be his best shot as they head off into turn 3.
Yeah, at this point in the race, you just got to try things you didn't. You could see him completely below that yellow line there. He's just searching for something. It looks like he might have found some grip down there. Steven Latrell's going to have just a little bit of run on him.
He'll still stay in second. At least the time being going to have it here, still side by side.
Yeah, that's forcing
to hold his line at the top though.
Forcing Steven to go about a lane and a half lower because he's thinking, man, he's passing me when I'm up high. I got to find something different, find some more speed.
And don't look now, though. These two drivers battled very hard for the race lead, allowing the rest of the field to really pull them in like a yo-yo. Because pretty much only half a second back now is Andrew Teff in third.
Yeah, Andrew is about 1.3 seconds back about 6 laps ago, so he's making good ground in him, so he loves what he sees in front of him. Two guys battling it out, burning tires up.
And that lap, he was 0.2 of a second faster. The lap before that, he was over half a second faster. These two continue to go to war for the top spot. Pendel just could not clear. Already see some before they continue to swap the lead back and forth. Tyler Schwab, I just noticed Kinsley Smith fell back to the 6th spot in the 15.
So when Andrew catches these guys, he's going to have a decision to make because Steven and Christopher, they have been side by side, and I don't think that's going to change. So, I mean, what do you do if you're Andrew Taft?
He got up. I mean, I don't know if you make it 3 wide, try to cut down the inside. Looks like that's exactly what he's going to do. Kind of fall back in line. 94 breaks away. I think he's just going to try to see if these two try to settle amongst themselves. Try to break away from the field once again. Time will tell if that's in the cards or not. So now basically your top 5 right in a line there. Kinsley Smith in 6, just a little bit ways back. There behind him is Timothy. Those top 7 really in contention at this point. The rest of the field back by about 4 seconds.
I know these drivers are just relieved to get this green flag running. I don't think they've had one this long all race, so I think we're actually going to see tire wear come into play. And I'm noticing in these top 5 drivers, you have Andrew Teff taking a shallower entry than these other drivers in here, and I think that's saving him some tire. I think Sean Dunaway has a very similar line, if not even shallower.
We talked about Dunaway earlier. He's kind of laying in the weeds right now in the back of this battle, just waiting to see if he can pick his way through it. We also talked about how he can basically run any line he needs to. Just got to be able to have the space to get through. Is 2x2 running from the top spot. I see Teff. He kind of pulls away. With the East Course, 36 and 94 had older tires than the rest of these drivers did. And doing battle side by side like that certainly is not going to help your good years.
Yeah, great patience there by the 98 and Sam and Sean Dunaway, just letting that 94 and 36 get out to that lead, battle, use up their stuff, and then just took advantage of it. So it looks like we're at about lap 104 right now, so we're coming on about 20 to go.
Yep, so Teff now and Ubers, those two kind of breaking away from everyone else. Dunaway now has worked his way into third. See if he can run down the top 2 and stay with him. Well, Smith and Timothy, those two also going to make their names known to 94 and 36 machines here very quickly.
Yeah, Sam has really copied the line of Andrew, so we'll see if his tires are any better, if he saved anything to try to catch him. And it looks like Sean Dunaway has moved up the track a little bit. He's trying to generate a little bit more speed.
Dunaway, last time around, he was the fastest car on the track, 23.474. Right behind him is the 94, Mr. Pendale. Those two drivers, the only two in the 23.4s. Both their top two right now running 23.5s. Teff was the slowest car last lap out of your top four drivers.
And really not surprising. I don't think Andrew's going to push it more than he has to at this point. He knows he's not being pressured, but I'm sure he's saving something in the tank in case Lubers gets closer.
In case someone is able to drive up alongside of him. Basically, your top four pretty much matching one another. Might be a couple hundredths of a second between each other, but lap times are relatively pretty close. And now here trying behind Sean Dunaway. Of course, they do battle. That'll make it, of course, very tough to be able to run down top two drivers. Pendale, though, thinks he's faster, and he'll see if he can get alongside of him in the upcoming laps.
Yeah, and we're starting to get a little bit of lap traffic, too, up here with the leaders. Andrew just made a clean pass, but we'll see if that has any effect as we continue this race.
Both of them have put a lap down. Of course, that is Joshua Norton. Race leader up to about the halfway point. Lubers, it looked like he had a little bit more trouble to get around 24, but he finally does so. He definitely lost about 3/10 there to the race leader. The time is running out.
Yeah, you can see Sam's line is
left.
Sam's line's changing a little bit. He's pushing a little bit more speed into the turn, which is ultimately slowing him up a little bit coming out of it. But he's just searching for something because he knows right now if he's just mimicking what Andrew's doing, he doesn't really probably have the speed to do it. So he's got to try to find a line that's going to generate more speed than Andrew.
Yeah, you gotta go where they're not, because even if he's able to get to him, he's got to find a way around them too. News for him is he was able to chip into the race lead there on the last lap, going to battle for the third spot. Joshua Norton not helping Sean Dunaway right now. He's trying to get by and make the pass.
Yeah, and we got lap traffic a little bit helping. I think Luber's out there. Andrew just got around the number 2, but the number 2 did not give up any space on the mid, and Andrew had to take a whole turn or two on the low side. So again, lap traffic coming into play.
Obviously now, 16 is right there. You just gotta see if you can get that little extra he needs to be able to get alongside. If you can get alongside, then it's pretty much fair game at that point. You just try to push it as hard as you possibly can, but he needs to get there. 10 laps left.
Yeah, Sam Lubers just cut the lead down. He was at about 0.6 of a second. Now he's floating between 3 and 4. So he's gained on Andrew, but time, unfortunately, is not on his side.
He just hasn't been able to keep with it. He's not able to get close enough. He gets to that about 3, maybe 0.2 of a second behind him. He's not able to be able to get alongside him and just be able to really be in contention, if you would say. Pendale still putting the pressure here on Dunaway as they continue their battle for the third spot. Teff and Lubers, they just ran identical lap times that last time around. Both 23.651. on the racetrack in the 23-second bracket.
Yeah, Sam's tried low. He's trying high again. He's just searching. I don't blame him. I'd be doing the same thing. You got to try to find something in these closing laps.
You just got to try something to see if anything works. Obviously, whatever Andrew's doing, he has just as much tire as they do. I believe they came down at the same exact time. It was a little bit faster last time. He was able to gain about 2/10.
Yeah, he's taking a lower line than Andrew right now, and he's gaining on him. It looks like that works a little bit better in the back stretch than it does the front stretch.
Just not. He lost a little bit of time that time, ever so slightly, but he could not taken any losses on these lap times. In the closing laps, obviously 4 to go when they get to the line.
You're in a situation like Sam is, you know, you're searching, but at the same time, you're thinking, please be a caution, please be a caution.
Yeah, because at least then you get to line up alongside of him. Pendell did finally make it by Dunaway for your third spot. Jeff continues to pull the laps away, and he pulled away a little bit more now. He's got up to about 7/10 of a second advantage over the 16 of Sam Rivers.
Yeah, it looks like our top 5 drivers have really spaced out right now. Even that back up into the top 8, all the drivers on the lead lap. We'll see if anybody can make a move here with the popsicle sticks in the air.
Barring a mistake, looks like your top 3 spots are solidified as long as they get to the white flag here. Because no matter what, race will end when they get back around and they get to it. One more lap. All he's got to do is coast through 3 and 4. Not making any contact at all. He should be home free. Andrew Teff going to come out turn 4, and he will pick up his first win of the season here in week 2 of the SRX series. Sam Lewis finishes second. Third going to be Christopher Pendell. Those 3 will get a word with here in a few moments. Sean Dunaway brings home 4th, and after a very tough night, 92 of Timothy Weisbrand.
Yeah, great run that he made to come back up to the front.
Of course, he struggled there quite a bit, but great finish there. Points only pay at the end of the race, and Kinsley finishes 6th, and Steven there, of course, led there on that the ending segment of this race. Definitely got to be frustrating to bring it home 7th for Steven. But Brett Bray finished 8th, 9th Terry Fennell, and Josh Van Norton 10th. 11th Mike Fudge and Jonathan Stidham, Aaron Roth, Barry Nelson, and Rowan Lloyd round up to 15th. Looks like we're just waiting on our race winner yet.
Yeah, real textbook run by Andrew, I thought. Just once he got out in that lead, he didn't over push it. He forced Sam to try to get a better line, and as Sam was reaching for one, just burn up his tires a little bit more than Andrew did, and he was able to sail away with that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Just great way to close out the race, really, for him. Able to have the tires at the end and make the move. He really patient with it. Obviously, once he got it out to the race lead, he was able to just kind of run his own race.
Yeah, and good call on the pit strategy too, when to pit, because we had that long green flag run. I mean, that was probably quadruple any other green flag run that we've had in this series between these first two races. So, kudos to all the drivers too.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we'll get a word with your race winner here tonight, Andrew Teff. Hey, Andrew, how you doing?
Hey, I got you. Sorry, I was just taking a drink of water there.
Obviously, all really worked out for you tonight. Had the tires when you needed it, and we're able to pick them off there on that long green flag run towards the end.
Yeah, I kind of got dumped there or whatever, and decided to come in, put some new tires on, saying I had kind of slid through the corner there and into the wall. Figured they might be used up a little bit, and just kind of hoping for a green flag run the whole race, and wondering which yellow, might bring it. And finally we got a little bit of a stretch there toward the end, and I guess it just timed out right for me that I had come in to grab new tires and had gone mostly green from there on out.
Yeah, obviously kind of almost a sign from above that kind of helped you out a little bit, I would say. Coming down the pit road at the right time, having the tires and just great speed there. Luber's there, he was trying everything he could, trying every line that's pretty much out there on the racetrack. To try to gain you on you there, he could find a couple tenths every couple times, but just not able to get enough, even with the lap traffic help there, to get alongside of you.
Yeah, I'm still kind of getting to know Sam. He's newer here, but every race I've been in with him, we've been battling super tight, clean racing, no contact or anything. So I'm learning that he's a really good short track driver also. So it's gonna be a lot of fun with him here. I hope he sticks around.
Obviously, got to be sitting pretty high up in points as well. After finishing sixth last week, of course, the win tonight is only going to help that effort. How much you looking forward to Lima Land next week?
Yeah, I'm all right under. I'm kind of in the same category as road courses for me. I'll keep it on the track and bring it home, but every once in a while I might win one if somebody makes a mistake in front of me. Sometimes I might sneak one out once in a while, but I'm still kind of learning that. Where I'm from, it's mostly asphalt here. That's what I'm familiar with.
Well, is there anyone you want to thank before I let you go?
Yeah, I want to thank you guys for helping out in the booth. Good run to Sam, and just a lot of fun racing him again. And I want to thank our servicemen and women, friends, family, team. Shout out to my mom specifically because she was complaining. I usually just say family to keep it quick, but thank you, Mom. And if you're interested in checking this out, head on over to racerselite.com.
Well, great run tonight. Congrats on the win, and best of luck next week.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, that was your race winner here tonight, Andrew Teff in 98. Next, we're going to work with your second place runner, Sam Lubers. Hey, Sam, how you doing?
Hey guys, what's going on?
Good. Obviously, just you tried everything you could out there, just not able to come on with the victory tonight, but definitely not by a shortage of trying.
Yeah. So that last run, I think it was Chris and Steve in front of us. They were just side by side for what seemed like 20 laps. I probably wasn't, but it seemed like forever. So we just kind of sat there and waited, right? We're gonna run out of tire doing that. And as soon as one got around, we were able to skirt by. And then, gosh, I spent what felt like another 20 laps just trying to find a spot to get a run, and I ended up burning my right front trying to, and had nothing there at the end.
Yeah, I felt like a couple times you were able to gain a tenth or two on a lap in the lap traffic. Sort of helped on a couple occasions as well. Just weren't able to get alongside. I felt like if you could get alongside, you might have had a shot at it, but just wasn't meant to be tonight though. But obviously a lot better finish than you had last week at Oswego.
Yeah. Oh, I got greedy there. Last week, I was in third, and he made a mistake in two, and that hole opened up, and I just floored it and just spun the car and put myself back in 11th. I didn't do the same thing here going for the win. I tried to make a good run, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah, at least you're able to bring it home a one piece on the podium as well. Brandon, anything else you want to add?
No, I just got to say kudos to you, Sam. I mean, as Andrew has said, you were battling Andrew, and you had tried every single line. We saw you go below the yellow. We saw you take it high. We saw you with an increased diamond. But yeah, we knew time wasn't on your side, and it looked like that right front was going out. But did you think at all you maybe had something in the tank to try to catch him at some point?
Could catch him, yeah, just to get alongside, so tough. He could control the race by just watching my line and then adjusting his to be in front of me. And it was a struggle. I didn't have anything that was fresher under me, so it would have taken almost a mistake by him, and he just didn't make one.
Yeah, great racing by both of you, but hey, congratulations on that P2 finish. Well earned.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys.
Yep, best of luck next week. All right, that was your second place finisher. Sam Luber just comes up a little bit too short here tonight at Indianapolis Raceway Park. And lastly, I'm going to work with Christopher Pendell. Hey, Christopher. Great to bring it home on the podium for back-to-back week. Of course, not at the top of the podium this week. Of course, that is definitely what you want. But should be sitting really good in the point standings going into Lima Land.
Yeah, man, and definitely could use it because I'm not very good at dirt racing. So definitely I'll take a third place finish, man. I'm going to have to put a lot of practice time in. It's funny because Lima Land, I went to college up there, UNOH. So Lima
okay,
Land
so did I.
like yeah. 2009 is when 2008 to 2009 when I was there. But yeah, I guess it was, it's one of my home. I guess you could say it's my hometown track. I don't know, but I'm probably not going to be very good.
It's one of those ones I was kind of surprised it was on the schedule because it's usually when you see it on the NASCAR league schedule or something like that, it's always Eldora or like the half-mile racetracks. Quarter mile certainly throws a wrench in the plans there, but could be very well one of the best races of the season at the same time though.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's going to be fun next week. I just want to try to stay out of everybody's way and not get disqualified and hopefully get some quality points because I'm going to be horrendous. So.
Well, you can only hope for the best. And Brandon, you have anything to add?
No, just another great run. Christopher, seems like every race or every week you're consistent with how you run. I think just the timing on that long green flag run caught some people off guard, and as far as pit strategies and everything, that really wasn't. I guess the dice didn't roll in your favor there, but just another good, strong run, and look forward to you being up front again.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, the cautions kind of, we was banking one or two more cautions was going to happen, and I burnt my stuff up on the bottom trying to pass him. Like I was trying to enter, let off early into the corner and let it rotate. I'm sure you guys see me driving it off the bottom a lot. I got good exit. It's just where the top was so dominant, he just got a good drive off. I thought I could have cleared him a couple times for the lead, and I might have been okay, but I just burnt my stuff up too much. And then once Andrew on new tires and the 16s on new tires, they just blew by us, and it's okay. I'll take third place. This is a fun track. I like this track. It's got a couple truck wins in this track, and it's really one lane dominant, and you got to be patient here. It's so small of a track and easy. Like you see me early in the run, I locked my tires up, dive bombing in the corner, and I normally don't dive bomb like that. And I just was on fresh tires. I'm like, I'm gonna try this, and I messed up. But I'll take third place, guys. Enough of my rambling. I'm sure you're tired of hearing it, but no, I'll take third place and go next week, get some laps. I'm looking forward to Wednesday. We got Chicago Lane Wednesday in Xfinity cars, so I'm looking forward to racing that one. But I'm definitely going to be putting some practice time in at Lima Lane. It's going to be, I'm either going to be excited just to finish or like throwing my headset because I can't turn a corner without wrecking. So.
Well, nevertheless, another strong performance by the number 94, Christopher Pendel. Christopher, do you have anybody you want to shout out?
Thanks for Andrew. Congrats to him on the league win tonight, by the way. He definitely pitted when it mattered and got them fresh tires, and it mattered. He got up front when it mattered the most. So congrats to him, and thanks to everybody that races with us. I enjoy racing with these group of guys every week. Thank you guys for broadcasting. I'm going to go back and watch the race. I always do every time, and you guys do a good job. And thanks to my wife and my kids for letting me do this. I mean, my wife used to put up with me doing this 5-6 nights a week, and now I'm on down to 2 nights a week. So she don't mind too much, but yeah, thank you everybody tuned in too as well. We appreciate you guys watching our races, and that was a lot of fun. We'll see you guys next week.
Yep, we'll see you then.
See you, buddy.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to about do it for us here in the booth. Of course, next week, like we talked about, Brandon, we'll be at Lima Land for the first dirt oval of the season.
Yeah, I can't wait to see these drivers get behind or get under a little bit of dirt and see what they can do with that.
Yeah, obviously a whole different ball game next week. But congrats to Andrew Teff on the win tonight. Very good race here at Indianapolis Raceway Park, as it always is.